Hello, hello, traders. Good morning. How are we doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. It is the end of the week. It's Friday, right? It is Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday. This week has been a long week with Jerome Powell and that crazy bank and what's going on with the banks is insane. The moves that we saw yesterday were pretty horrendous. We're going to talk about those here in a little while. But just want to say welcome. Good morning. My name is Jason Krutzky. It is a great pleasure to be with you guys today. And why are we here today? Well, we're here because it's non-farm payrolls. What are non-farm payrolls? It's a darn good question. Not everybody knows what non-farm payrolls are. So I have a little definition here written up that I'm going to share with you if you're not familiar with non-farms. Non-farm payrolls include 80% of the number of workers in the United States. It excludes farm workers and workers in several other job classifications, including active duty military, private household, proprietors, non-profit employees as well. So why is it important? We need to know how many jobs are being added. The more jobs that are being added, I would theorize the worse off for us, right? We are living in a bad news is good news environment. So, if people are adding jobs, or if the number of jobs being added are increasing, then this could potentially be problematic. Again, just giving further weight to the strength of the economy, and therefore giving further weight to the Fed to continue to hike interest rates and pressure test things. So that's why we're here today. We're thinking that this could be potentially a big day in the markets. We, of course, have had some big days in the markets. Yesterday was really the big day, right? Like, we had a move lower. I've got NQ up here. We could look at anything. We had this move lower when Jerome Powell started his first testimony on Tuesday. Before he even started talking, we had a move lower. And then we just went sideways until he stopped talking. And then yesterday, we had this big move up, followed by a very nasty move to the downside. And so now today, we're kind of, for me, I'm kind of looking at the bigger time frames to glean some sort of understanding of where we are. And we can talk about where we are here momentarily. But before we do that, what I'd kind of like to do is I'd like to get to know you guys. There are a few of you here. So if you're here, please say hello in the chat. Introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from. And how are you feeling about the markets these days? I'd like to get to know who's here, and I also want you guys to get to know each other. So if you're here, thank you for being here. I do really appreciate it. We'll spend, like I said, a little bit of time looking at the charts before the announcement this morning. That announcement is coming here in about 27 minutes. We'll watch the announcement. We'll watch the market's reaction to the announcement. You guys can tell me what symbols you want to keep an eye on. Good morning, Channel Guy Trader. Atlanta, what's up? I'm from Atlanta originally as well. Spent most of my life in Atlanta. Channel Guy Trader, where in Atlanta are you? Jamel, what's happening, Jamel from New Orleans? Murder Red from Jersey City, what's up? Simon from Chile. Awesome, man. Chile. Happy to have you here, Simon. Oh, cool. From Buckhead. Awesome. I spent most of my adulthood living in Old Fourth Ward area. Spent a couple years down in East Point in my later adulthood. No longer there anymore, but Buckhead, but moved here 2 years ago from South Florida. Right on. Well, I hope you're enjoying Buckhead. Luke Stewart from Minnesota. What's up, Luke? Thank you for being here. How's Minnesota today? Is it cold there today? Hello from Thailand. What's up from Thailand? See, this is why I wanted everybody to say hello, because we get this worldwide cast of folks who come to these little live streams, and it's so cool to get to know you guys. Went to Georgia Tech for graduate school. What's up, James Wang? From China. Cool. So I went to Georgia State for a very short time. So I spent a little bit of time at Georgia Tech. Dated a girl from Georgia Tech for a couple of years as well. I know that place. What about the rest of y'all? We got people from China. We got folks from Thailand. We got New Orleans, Jersey City in the house, Chile, Buckhead, Atlanta. What's up, Rilker? Oh, Rilker. How's it going, man? From Brazil? We have spoken quite a few times over the past 3 years, haven't we, Rilker? I used to be on the support team, so I used to talk to you in chat. Paul Brown, what's up? We got 2 from Minnesota now. We got Branko from Croatia. Ooh, I want to go there so bad. I hear Croatia's pretty great. What's up, Josh from Nebraska? James, what's up from Kentucky? Let's go, James. Hope you're well, my friend. Always good to see familiar faces in the live streams. So we got a worldwide cast for sure. How are you guys feeling about the markets here? Are you concerned? Are you feeling good? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? How are you playing things? Are you positioned at all for today? Any of you guys try and trade that crazy bank yesterday? I can't remember what the name of it was. SIVB. Is that what it was? SVIB? What's up, Naresh? Good to see you. Is it SVIB? SIVB? Yeah, SIVB. What's it trading at now? $38. This thing closed at like 110 bucks. Yeah, closed 106 bucks. Trading $38 right now. Holy moly. I drew some you had to go back. I was looking to see where this thing might potentially catch a bid. And you have to go back to 2008. You have to go back to 2008 to find it. But there's a couple of levels down here that are untested that potentially could come into play. 29.30, 41 they already broke through, so that one's a no bueno. But yeah, maybe 30 bucks, maybe 20 bucks. Phew. Brutal. Naresh, so Naresh, pretty bullish. Interesting. That's a counterintuitive place to be, Naresh. Good on you for having that thought. Banks were definitely the reason yesterday. Channel guy, you're hanging tight. Had a good trade on DE. Good. Nice. You're long 185 shares of SQQQ with 1 call sold against a hedge. Nice. Net positive. Good for you. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Daniel, yes, SIBB. Thank you for that, sir. All right, so let's take a look. I do most of my work on futures. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking futures, if that's okay with you. Would you guys prefer we talk futures, or would you prefer that we talk indices? What's up, IJ Rambo? Hollering at Rambo. How you doing, brother? Hope you're well. Yeah, futures. Okay, cool. So I've got a couple of levels drawn out here. This is just, again, this is just opinions. Take them for what they are. A couple of things that I kind of, you guys probably, some of you guys know me, I'm price action guy. So one thing that I pay attention to when it comes to indicators, obviously the 200-day moving average, really important. Really important simply because it's one of those self-fulfilling prophecies, right? Like everybody's watching the 200. Well, yesterday, what did? We broke below the 200 on the ES. And we've done that, we've done that before, of course. We've had some trouble with it, but we did bounce originally. When was this? Like Friday, Wednesday last week, something like that. March 1st, bounced. Now we've broken through. Could it become resistance? There is that potential. You also have your anchored VWAP from the October 2022 lows here. Now we are below that as well. And that's kind of been holding us up throughout this entire move. You could argue this was a little sketchy, this section in here. We were kind of trading below it, but ultimately we did get above it, and now we've broken below it. So if we do rally some today, some initial spots to keep your eye on when it comes to futures are going to be those two spots. The 200-day moving average, 39.50, the anchored VWAP from those October lows at 39.41. For all the price action folks in the house, you do have this untested. This is like an ICT concept. ICT talks a lot about these. I can't remember the name of the term. I kind of want to say it's displacement. But I can't remember. Maybe there's an ICT somebody in the house today that could tell me what this is called. But this 40-42 level, if things get nice and moving to the upside, that could be a potential level. But you do have your September 2022 monthly close. So I'm always looking at big time frame closes. So that's how I drew this line. You've got a monthly close that we did find almost perfect support at overnight. This monthly close here in September. And why is that important to me was because it's the one that contains the low, October, the October monthly close. I have it written as September. It's October monthly close. So the reason why it's important to me is because this is the candle that provided the low. So the close of that candle is important. And now we've come back and we've tested it. You also have a quarterly level. If we go to the quarterly time frame, you got last quarter. So quarter four close is at 38.61. So that could also be something kind of interesting too. So a level to keep your eye on if we continue lower. Those are my thoughts on the ES. Now we could also, fibs are always helpful. Different people draw their fibs different ways. I like to just draw them from the most important swing. So swing low to high. And you've got a 50% fib retrace there at that quarterly level as well. So that would give you a little bit of extra strength at that particular spot. If price were to come down into it, you don't just have a quarterly level there. You have a 50% fib retrace level, low to high. Low to high, high to low, low to high, whatever. So a couple of areas to keep your eye on. It's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe, this non-farm payroll number could be the catalyst that drives it in one direction or another. Let's go to NQ and take a look at what's going on with NQ. Now, NQ, in my opinion, looks quite more constructive, does it not? Up above the 200-day moving average. Let's create anchored VWAP on the October low. Well above the anchor VWAP from the October low. This isn't something that we've seen a ton lately. The NQ's kind of been the laggard for several months. I guess it's been a little bit stronger recently, but it's kind of been the laggard. But right now it's looking a little bit better, up above the 200, up above the anchor VWAP from the October lows. So a little bit more constructive here, in my opinion, on NQs. I do have a couple of levels drawn. It's the same levels as we just spoke about on the ES. You have your October close. Your October close is at 11,441. And then you have your quarter four close well below that at 11,030. So a couple of levels that could come into play, could come into, we'll see. We'll see if price gets there. I don't know if anybody follows me on social media, specifically on Twitter. Yes, don't forget to like the live stream. Yeah, and also don't forget to put notifications on or follow us. Follow our channel. I'm going to be getting back into doing these, not every day, but maybe once or twice a week. I will be live for pre-market just for an hour, talking shop. We could, and these early morning lives are really kind of meant for the purpose of being office hours for you guys. To directly speak with somebody from TrendSpider and ask any questions that you may have about the platform. I am here to help with whatever questions you have. If you need help building scans, if you need help understanding how to use one of the tools, maybe the strategy tester or whatever. that's my role. I'm here to help you guys. So please take the time, you know, if you're around in the morning and you have curious questions about TrendSpider, you know, sometimes we have a live chat, an employee chat that you guys can always access down here in the bottom right-hand corner where it says contact us. This is a direct feed into our employee chat room. We have live employees in chat Monday through Sunday. Every single day there is somebody there. During the weekdays, they're there a lot more hours than on the weekend. On the weekend, it's about 8 hours a day. But during the week, it's like 22 and a half hours of the day, maybe even 24 at this point. But we pretty much, there's almost always somebody there that can answer a question. And you can ask questions. You can ask extensive questions there too. You know, they can help you build out scans if you need help. They can help you, they can help teach you whatever you need to know. But, you know, sometimes people learn better in this kind of way through direct interaction. So anytime you have questions, do follow me and follow this channel. Put alerts on for this channel. I think you can do that on YouTube because I'm going to be going live. It'll probably be Tuesdays, Thursdays, and it'll be like 30 minutes before the bell. So 30 minutes before the bell, maybe up to like an hour after the bell. So like an hour, hour and a half on Tuesdays, Thursdays. I'm going to be probably going live just to hang out, talk shop, you know, kind of shoot the shit, right? Just kind of kick it and answer any questions that you guys have about the platform. Brief rundown on the way you connect your broker to fill a trade at the alert for you. So we can talk about that, Murder. Let me finish up with the futures here. 1 second. Sager, yeah, absolutely, no problem. Ivan, SPY down. I don't make the rules with the direction. I only see what I see on the charts. So let's take a look real quick at RTY. How is EU reacting ahead of jobs numbers? I don't know. Do you have a particular ticker that you would watch for that? I don't really pay attention to European markets that much, personally. All right, so what do we got here on the RTY? On the RTY, below rather, I'm sorry, just like SPY broke below the 200-day moving average and also below the anchored VWAP from October lows. So a little bit more concerning of a look here on RTY, very similar to SPY. We could throw up a fib and see where we're at on the fib side. Broke below the 50%. Retrace again. Now you got three things above RTY that could be a little bit problematic. You look at DAX in London. Okay. Are there, as far as London is concerned, is there particular tickers there? You're just, that's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, I have to be honest. I'm not super familiar. I should pay attention more to what's going on in the world because as our friend JC from All Star Charts says, it is a market of stocks, not a stock market. And it's a world market, not just the United States. So we don't offer individual equities, world market equities. If there are any ADRs that we could point to, we could definitely look at them. Or we could look at like EURUSD, but I'm not really I have to admit, I'm not a currencies guy. So my analysis on currencies, I just don't, I don't have any real confidence in that. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not, I'm not really sure. Markets, I guess you could look at what happened overnight, right? You have the Japanese session and you have the European session that come in overnight. And what did we do? Well, we've bounced quite a bit. NQ is quite clean. If we go to NQ, again, if you know me, you know I'm a price action guy. And one of my absolute favorite setups is inverse head and shoulders, head and shoulders. And the way that I look at it is a lot different maybe than the way that some people look at it. But essentially what you got is you got a shoulder, you got a head. And you you gained, right? So when you have a head and shoulders or an inverse head and shoulders, you have a low or a high, and then you either make a new low or you make a new high, and then you have your little neckline here, right? So if you're able to get up and over or down and under, you anticipate that when price comes back in whatever direction it comes back, so AKA this move right here, you anticipate this. You anticipate that price is going to test the shoulder on the other side. And this is exactly what we did. So very clean move here on NQ. Now we were looking for that yesterday, and we did not get it by any stretch of the imagination. Same idea, right? So it's not like this works all the time. But you see what I'm seeing here? Like we would have anticipated a hold here because it's the same setup. I guess you could argue that they kind of did it here though, right? Let me move this. Oh, I guess I gotta, well, whatever. You can argue that there was something here. And why they held this was because of this. But it's tricky. I don't know. I don't really buy that personally. If you look on RTY, RTY has something similar but on a bigger time frame. Right, you have this. This is how I look at things. Whether it's right or wrong, who knows? But, you know, you do what works for you. Okay, real quick, let's take a look at some of those things. EWG. All right, we're 9 minutes out. Damn, Germany looks great. All right, so this is the monthly on Germany. I mean, essentially, you're just trading in a giant range, right? It's not really in like a breakout mode or anything. It did make a higher low. Let's go to weekly. So on the weekly, you get a little bit clearer of a picture. So generally, anytime I'm looking at anything, you know, I'm not a huge indicator guy, but I'm always going to be using anchored VWAPs because you always want to know where your average buyer is from any point in time, right? Especially from the important points in time. So relative highs, relative lows. So on the TrendSpider platform, super easy. Right click on a candle and you can create a anchored VWAP from that candle. So obviously well above anchored VWAP from the September lows. Trying to trade above the anchor VWAP from, what is this, the June 2021 highs. That's interesting because we're not there yet. Well, actually, let me see. We're not there yet on SPY. Yeah, we're well below it on SPY. Go to QQQ, same deal. Don't mind my drawings here. Well below it on QQQ as well. I think maybe DIA is the only one that really managed to get up and over it. It might be breaking below now. Yeah, so it's breaking below now, but it did manage to get above it a little bit. So let's go back to EWG. So trying to hold above it is going to be an important spot for sure. Let me throw auto fibs up. If it pulls back, then you're going to be looking, I mean, that 50% retrace kind of coincides with your anchored VWAP from the September lows. If this thing loses this anchored VWAP from the highs, I would consider that a bit of a line in the sand because it is important. If we do fibs from high to low, what are they doing? They're pausing at the 50% retrace. Yeah, so Germany kind of in a tricky spot. Looks really good, but kind of in a tricky spot. Needs to prove itself here. Essentially needs to get back above whatever this weekly candle. We need to see get back above the 50% retrace and stay above this anchored VWAP. Could go sideways for a while, but if it starts breaking down, you know, you have a 50% retrace and you have that anchored VWAP from the lows down here at like 24 bucks on EWG. So we'll see what happens there. Let's check EWZ. Brazil looks not good. Never was able to regain highs from even from COVID. Or from before COVID, I guess. Huh. COVID low anchor VWAP. Where are we at there? Yeah, Brazil looks bad. I have not looked at this in a while. Let me throw up RSI real quick just to kind of see what's going on there. Kind of always looking for divergences on RSI. You know, you had some here. You had lower lows, but you had higher lows on RSI. So these can be decent signals, you know, just to start thinking about reversals. Yeah, I mean, Rilke, yeah, it's seems like no man's land to me. Seems hard to trade. EWJ. What's Japan looking like from the COVID low anchored VWAP? That's going to be trouble. From the 2021 high anchored VWAP. So you've got lots and lots of buyers stuck. Another thing you can use for this would be your volume by price, because volume by price would at least show you the breakdown of all of the individual levels. So you've got your anchored VWAPs. Yeah. You held the low, which you want to see, but 60 bucks could be trouble on this thing. If it's able to get above 60 bucks. Let me go to a bigger time frame for the fibs. Yeah, so auto fibs, 50% retrace, and your average buyer stuck at that $60 spot seems like it could be problematic. Naresh, market rockets today. Well, we'll see. We will see. I want to... So, Murder, regarding connecting brokers, we'll talk about it. Let's talk about it after the announcement. Let me know, y'all, what tickers do you want to watch? I'm going to put up multi-symbol view here. Any specific tickers that you guys want to keep an eye on? Murder, I am not the creator of TrendSpider. I am not. I'm just a lowly host of a show. All right. Well, okay, so instead of SPX, is SPY okay among twins? We could do ES too. Jake is not either. Well, Jake is one of the founders. Netflix, Tesla. I am not a programming guru by any stretch. By any stretch. I just have a decent understanding of how the platform works. I'm going to put up some crypto here so we can watch crypto. Holy moly. ETH getting rocked. Tesla. Netflix. SIVB new low. Yeah, that's all it's doing. That's all it's done is made new lows. 36, 34. Dang. All right, channel guy, good luck. I mean, if you're long from 25, heck yeah. It's like a 50% move. Let's go. Oh, you're long 25 shares. I see. Not from $25. Apple. I'm going to put your SIVB right here, sir. Let's get something other than tech. We've got enough tech to know what's going on between Tesla, Netflix, and Apple, and NQ and QQQ. They're all going to pretty much do the same thing. All right, here's a move. Let me do... Throw AMD down here, even though we have plenty of tech. Here's AMD. NVDA, okay, fine. You guys are all tech heads. Here's NVDA. So, markets are moving a little higher, huh? Market's liking it. So my guess then is that non-farm payrolls came in lower than expected. Can anybody confirm that for me? Let's do XLF. Oh, let's put it right here. Yeah, actually, that's a really great idea. Because, damn, they got beat up yesterday. What's up? Higher than expected. NSM? Wow, 50% higher. So hold on, let me get this straight. 50% higher means 50% more jobs were added than anticipated. Can you confirm this, NSM? My friend? Everybody shout out NSM. Average hourly earnings dropped. How is that possible? Well, I mean, I guess I understand how that's possible, but that seems kind of surprising. Oh, I don't doubt you. I believe you. Wow. 50% more jobs added and the markets are pumping. That's kind of hard to believe. That seems quite counterintuitive. Okay, got you. So it's down from last month. Down 200,000 jobs from last month. So the amount of jobs being added is cooling, but the amount of jobs expected to add was 50% more than expected. Huh. Interesting. Well, you know, just thinking about this. Hold on, where's this SIVB? 38. Nice. You got what, $4 out of it? That's good 10%. Nice job, channel guy. Yeah, $300, $400. Well done, sir. Go get yourself a nice dinner with your significant other this weekend with the profits. Well done, sir. Well done. Always like to hear of a trade gone right, a trade gone well. for the gang and the crowd. Back to 400. Yep. Kind of seems like maybe that might be the case. I mean, there's a ways to go to get there, to be sure. You know, it's kind of surprising that they would have guided down non-farms that much in a month from 500 to 250,000. Seems like a pretty aggressive guide down. Doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. But it kind of seems like it to me. So what's SPY doing? I'm just going to pop over this real quick. I just want to see what I have a level drawn and I want to see what the level's all about. What's my level doing? Why do I have a level there? Oh, from. Having trouble with that March 2nd low. Huh. Okay. Just kind of curious. What's up, Prosper? Good to see you. Well, in theory, Prosper, I don't know if you spent any time watching the Jerome Powell testimonies, but this is what they were really, really kind of like baking him on was, in theory, one of the ways to cool the economy is to bring jobs down, is to bring employment down, right? Because employment is strong because there's a need for employment, right? There's a need for workers. If the economy is weaker, then there's less of a need for workers. So the employment goes down and the economy essentially would then therefore cool. So on the government side says you're trying to kill jobs. And he's saying jobs are one lever that controls what's going on with the economy. Or jobs are a result of what's going on with the economy. So, whether or not, I don't know that necessarily Fed, he specifically says that he does not want high unemployment. He wants a cooler economy. And one component or one result of a cooler economy is lower employment, right? He's not going to directly say, I want to kill employment. I want unemployment to go up. He's never going to say that. They were trying to get him to say that. SIVB is back at $106. What? No. If it's halted, there's no. I don't think I don't think that's going to be the case, homie. Is it really trading 106 or is it halted and says it's at 106? No, it's at 39 bucks on my end. 106 just closing price. Are there prints at 30? Really? I don't have level 2. I don't have level 2, so I can't see it. That is wild, though. Holy moly. 270,000%. That is wild, man. You don't see things like that very often. That is for sure. Yeah, so Matthew, this is what I would be concerned about, is like, what are the size of what's going on, and who is it that's even able to trade? If it's halted, who's actually doing the trading? Oh, the prints are what caused it to halt. The prints at $60. Huh. But what was the size of those? So I want to take a second. Let me grab something real quick from YouTube. I'm almost certain we have a walkthrough video. For Murder, you were asking about Signal Stack connecting with your broker. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me log in here to this. So it should be pretty simple for you, sir. Let me throw this up here. So you should be able to see this. So when you're in Signal Stack, you just go to Connect Broker and follow the prompts here. Pick whichever broker you have. And then on the TrendSpider side, when you have an alert, so let's just use one really cool thing. Hold on. Just do something basic here. If you have a strategy, because if you're going to create a bot, you need both sides, right? You need your entry and your exit. So once you have a strategy, I wouldn't want to run this one, but once you have a strategy, go launch this trading bot. And then you're going to want to add webhooks. So you need to create webhooks from Signal Stack. I don't have a broker connected right now. But once your broker is connected, then you'll have the option to create the webhook. And then you would just input that webhook here and here. I need to find out. I know that there's a video that Dan made, Dan the founder, on that like steps through this. Let me see if I can find that video for you. Oh, here we go. So this video covers it too. This is just a fellow that's utilizing signal stack, but Prosper. I can't answer that question for you, sir. That's a risk tolerance thing, man. It's up to you. If you think you've got edge, trade whenever you feel it. Price gets to where it gets to, depending on how you trade. I think the big thing that you have to consider is what's your strategy, right? If your strategy dictates an entry, kind of doesn't matter what the data is, right? I mean, it does to some degree, but if you've taken your strategy and you've back tested it and you know that when these conditions occur, historically, you have this percentage win rate, then that takes the news, the importance of the news, it kind of takes that completely out of it, does it not? Murder, I'm almost certain it is only shares at this time. Options, I do not think you can do with options. Now, whether or not that will change in the future, I cannot say for sure. But I'm like 99.9% sure it's only shares. Because we don't have options charts. So you can't choose the options contract. I don't think. No. Yeah, it's just shares. But yeah, that's my thought, Prosper, is if your strategy dictates that you get into a trade based off of anything, whether there's news or not, if your strategy triggers, then you should just get into the trade, right? Like otherwise you're not following your strategy. Otherwise you're trading in a discretionary way, which, in theory could be quite dangerous. If you're comfortable trading in a discretionary way, then, trade how you trade. But if you have a specific strategy, let's just say, for example, you buy moving average crosses, right? Like whether or not there was news to drive that moving average cross, if you get the signal that you're looking for, then it seems like you should trade it, right? And you should just let the signal. You should trust the signal, and if the signal fails, then you know when you're wrong because the signal failed. You have something provable, back-testable that you spent time getting to understand. So whatever causes the signal to occur in the first place, whether you have a big non-farm payroll number or nothing happened, or there was no like specific catalyst, that the cross occurred, so you trade it. That's kind of my thought on it. I think where it's tricky is, do you have a strategy? Do you have something that you back tested? Is there a way to make a signal of an inside bar? Of course. Yeah, so on your criteria, on your parameters, you go condition, and you say candlestick pattern, type in inside, and there's your inside bar. And you can choose green or red inside bar if you want to. So of course. Yeah, for an alert or for a bot, you can utilize candlestick patterns, you can utilize price conditions, you can utilize indicator conditions. So you would just have inside bar, bullish, and essentially your entry signal is a 30-minute, is the closing of a bullish inside bar on the 30-minute time frame, right? So anytime there's an inside bar on the 30-minute time frame, you're going long on the candle that precedes it, the open of the candle that precedes it. So one thing I wanted to talk about real quick, I was on, now that we've kind of seen the move, we've digested a little bit the move. I mean, not completely. I'm sure we'll see what happens with the day. Where we at here? NQ kind of pulling back a little. Looks like NQ found some resistance. RTY a little. Q's a little. So we'll see what happens going into the end of the day. I wanted to take a little bit of time, do a very short lesson for you guys to teach you just something that kind of occurred to me yesterday. I spend quite a bit of time listening to Twitter Spaces. I try and hop on as many as I can and be a technical voice whenever I'm invited to be. And one thing that I was paying attention to last night, or one thing everybody was talking about last night, of course, everybody was talking about banks and how much banks moved. If we go to JPM, I'm going to go to the daily here on JPM. I'm going to just turn off indicators for a minute. You had a huge move on JPM. From open to close, you were down, what, 4.7% there. How do we look on BAC? 5.4% from open to close on BAC. And the list goes on and on, right? SCH Schwab. What's Schwab? SCHWB or something? No. SCHW, yeah. Schwab was down. Anyway, my point is, Schwab was down, what, 8.5%. My point is that a lot of folks on Spaces were talking about the severity of these moves and how these moves were, you know, kind of, we haven't seen moves like this in banks in a very long time. It's very rare that we see big moves like this where you have these big percentage down days. And it got me thinking, you know, how rare are these moves truly? Because sometimes you hear somebody who sounds very smart talking on a space and they sound like they know what they're talking about. And then you have, and the reality is that you have the tools. If you have TrendSpider, you have the tools to kind of question what they're saying. And ultimately the point I'm trying to make is do question the things that you're hearing and test the things that you're hearing before you go making assumptions about anything. So let's talk about how we do that. I'm going to utilize the strategy tester to do it. So the first thing that we want to test is we want to test how rare is a move like this. I'm not saying it's not rare. I'm just saying we can test it. So why don't we test it and see? Prove the talking head's right or wrong. So yesterday on Schwab, we had a move down of almost, what, 10%? Almost 10%? No, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm just going open to close. 8.5%. We could test it, right? We could say price close. Actually, yeah, we'll say price close less than price open by at least 8%. First thing I want to test is how often has this happened? So I'm going to test back as far as I can, and I'm just going to do a number of candles a pass, and I'm going to say like 3. Doesn't really matter. This is my exit. I don't care about how the results. I just want to know how many times has it been down 8% in a day. We can find that out very quickly. 24 times. In the past 27 years, this thing has been down 8% in a day. It's kind of interesting. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my indicators and I'm going to take a look specifically at volume, because this is something that not everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about the big down day, but they were not mentioning the fact that the down day occurred on crazy amounts of volume, because it did. We could see it here. Another thing that I'll use is relative volume. Relative volume is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's a measurement of the current volume relative to the average volume. Over a specific candle period of time, you can choose the length of time. It's preset to 20. So it's just taking the average volume over the past 20 candles and comparing the current volume to that and multiplying, right? So it's giving you a multiplier of how the volume compares. So if we look at R vol, we see that R vol was at like 6. So that's 6x average volume over the past 20 days. And you could change it if you wanted to. You could maybe make it 200 days, and that would kind of flatten it out to some degree. It reduces our vol down to 5 or 5.25. Still a ton of volume relative to its average. And that is kind of, to me, what's key. So we want to add that as a condition. We want to say indicator RVol is greater than a constant value of 5. So not only is it down 8% on the day, but your RVol is actually very high as well. So then we run it again to see, okay, well, how often has it done that much? How often has it had that big of a down day on that much volume? And the reality is never once in its history. This is the first time this ever happened on Schwab. So that gives you a little bit more confidence in the idea that this is an important signal, right? If we go to JPM, everybody talking about JPM yesterday. Haven't seen a 5% down move in a really long time. This is a really rare occurrence. How true is that? This thing was down 4.7%. So we'll have to change these metrics a little bit. I'm going to just say 4.5. I'm going to remove RVol and I'm going to run. How many times has it been down 4.5% in a day? 75 times over the past 27 years. It's kind of interesting, right? This is not quite the thing that they said that it doesn't give the same appearance as what everybody was saying yesterday. This actually happens quite more often than you would expect. However, let's check out RVol. Let's add RVol to it. RVol was at 2. And again, we've changed that moving average to 200 days. So we're taking into account a lot more days of volume. So let's add that RVol condition. RVol greater than 2. Is this making sense to you guys? Hopefully it's making sense. When you add the RVol value, that reduces the amount of times this has happened to 21. So a third of the times, or almost even like a quarter. It's quite a big change, right? So the point of this very brief lesson for you guys is you have tools available to you that allow you to question what you're hearing out there. And the reason why I mention it is because what you hear out there, not everybody, but I know that when I hear things, when I hear smart people talking about things, it colors my opinion. And this is a way of breaking through that noise and better understanding what is actually happening, right? If you have a better understanding of what is actually happening, you have a better chance of being profitable in your trading off of what is actually happening. So when you see somebody talking about, oh, you've got a death cross on Tesla on the hourly time frame, right? And this is problematic. And I'm worried about it, and I think it's going lower. Well, go back and test the death cross on Tesla on the hourly time frame and see if there's any validity to their statement. You can do this. It's very easy. And I would encourage you to do it because it's just going to help you build your confidence in what you're trading. Now, does anybody have any questions about this? Does what I explained make sense? And does how I explained it make sense? Is there anything you're curious about before I jump out of here? Because coming up on the end of the hour and I'm about to jump out of here. And I want to make sure that you guys are walking away feeling like you learned a little something. Murder as well. If you want to hit me up in DMs, you can. Krutzky Trades on Twitter. If you have any further trouble, we can discuss it, or I can put you in touch with one of our support guys who can also help you as well. Any questions? Speak now or forever hold your peace until next Tuesday when I'll be back and you can ask more questions. No, nothing? Doesn't seem like there's any questions. No questions. Prosper. You got it. All right. Tight. Prosper. Thank you, sir. I hope you do too. Are there, if there are no, or if there are any folks who are not TrendSpider users here, if you're interested in becoming a TrendSpider user, I've got you a discount if you'd like one. Let me hook you up. This is a 35% discount. Shoot. Oh, all right. Jay Rambo. Come on over. Leave the dark side. Join the bright side. That's a 35% discount on a plan of your choice. We'd love to have you on the platform. If you'd be interested in being on it, we'd love to have you. If you have any questions about the platform, again, like I said, my DMs are open. You can always reach out to me on Twitter. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. And also, you know, like I said, we've got the gang of guys in chat. And those guys are available for users and non-users. You don't have to be a user of the platform to speak to somebody in chat. They're there. If you go to TrendSpider.com. Go real quick. Right here. These guys can answer your questions as well. And these are real guys. These are buddies of mine. Real-time quotes, of course. The only thing that is not real-time is indexes. So like SPX is 15 minutes delayed. But futures is real time, stocks is real time, ETFs real time, currencies real time, crypto real time. All right, y'all. Well, it has been such a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you're going to trade today, be careful out there. Trade them well. Stick to your strategy. It's very important. Stick to your strategy. Do not trade discretionarily. Do not trade with FOMO. Stick to your strategy. My name is Jason Krutzky. It's been a pleasure. And again, like I said, if anybody has any questions, do not hesitate to hit me up. Thank you so much for being here. I will be live again next week. Follow the channel, like and subscribe to the channel if you found this interesting. Try and provide as much educational help as I can. But I need you guys to ask questions to provide more educational help. So feel free to come back anytime. Anytime I'm live. Love to have you guys here. And have a great weekend. Be safe out there. It's been a pleasure chatting. And we'll talk again soon. All right, guys. Take care.